At least that's what they want. Evan Siegfried is a Republican strategist and author. Jake Maccabee is a former chief writer for U.S. Attorneys General Loretta Lynch and Eric Holder. Well, I have a whole segment of questions for you. Were you on board that plane when she met with Bill Clinton? I have to ask it, right, Evan? I know you traveled with her, Loretta Lynch.
No, I wasn't. But that's not what I'm here to talk about.
All right. We'll move on. Let's talk about this, Evan, in terms of whether or not the president should sit down with Robert Mueller.
Well, the president's weighing two things. There's the political as to why he should or he shouldn't, and then there's the legal. The legal, let's start with that. It would be a disaster for any defense attorney to allow the president to go and sit down with Robert Mueller. They want to limit the president's exposure, even if he did absolutely nothing wrong, because he can say something that trips things up. And even though he might not be put under oath, lying to a federal investigator is still a federal crime, and he could be charged with that if he said something that he knew to be untrue.
You know, Jake, there's not been that there. There's not that evidence of collusion. You heard the president say the word many, many times yesterday, no collusion, that phrase. Yet there's this thirst. The Democrats are just thirsty to get to, what are you trying to get to? What is the end game here?
Well, I would say, first of all, that you've had already 4 members of President Trump's campaign charged with crimes, and 2 of them plead guilty to federal
Has nothing to do with collusion, though.
So there are 2 things that this investigation is potentially about. One is about collusion with Russia or criminal conspiracy. The other is about obstruction of justice. And there are a whole series of actions that are really troubling from an obstructionist standpoint, from the president firing the FBI director and then saying he did it because he was thinking of Russia, all the way to more recently the news that the president was pressuring Attorney General Jeff Sessions to stick around and saying that he needed him around to protect him. So there are a lot of problematic issues here, and I think Special Counsel Mueller is going to want to talk to the president.
Problematic issues, but still no evidence. Evan?
Well, I think Jake's jumping the gun. Robert Mueller is respected, and this investigation is respected by the majority of Americans. They view him as honest and credible and trying to do a thorough job. And Robert Mueller has not charged the president with obstruction of justice. It might be something he considers, but at the end of the investigation, he will say whether or not there was. And if there wasn't, I think Democrats are going to have a little bit of egg on their face. The president politically should actually go out and sit down with Robert Mueller and go under oath, because he said time.
You think so?
I actually do, because this would help him and the nation heal. Because if he comes and puts this to bed and says, this is everything I know, because he said nothing has happened, and if he says so under oath, and Robert Mueller backs that up at the end of the investigation and says there's no there, then it will help heal the nation, and the president could raise his honesty ratings within that Americans view him, because they don't view him as honest, and it would help him move forward and have a more successful
presidency. People who want to protect the president, though, from, I mean, you know how it's going to be when you sit down. I mean, these people are professionals at kind of getting you into an encircled position. Are you worried at all about the president being vulnerable in that situation?
Well, first of all, we haven't had the president's lawyers negotiate how the president will appear. Remember, President Bush, he testified before the 9/11 Commission. It was just an hour, and that was it.
Okay. Jake?
I mean, I think...
I saw you nodding, agreeing with him.
Well, there are parts that I agree with. I think that the president should absolutely speak to Special Counsel Mueller, and I think particularly because he's going around saying he's going to be exonerated, then it makes perfect sense for him to sit down and tell his story.
But isn't that because Democrats are hoping for a little gotcha, or is there another reason?
No, and you know, you talk about these people are professionals at getting people into situations. These people are professionals at following the evidence wherever it leads, and so that's exactly what they're trying to do here. So, you know, if you are a person who is completely innocent of any wrongdoing, you want to sit down with Bob Mueller, you want to have a conversation, and you want to get to the end of this investigation as soon as possible without impeding the investigation and without impugning the credibility of the investigation, so that when they say this guy didn't do anything, then you're standing tall and you look good.
Really, you think Democrats are going to back away from the trees tray? I mean, because really and truly, what will it take to get Democrats to say, okay, no evidence, we'll move on?
I think...
You think this will do it?
That he testifies to the special counsel? I think if the special counsel...
And that they find no evidence.
I think if the special counsel says that there's no evidence for any of these things, I think that that's going to be certainly a help to the president, but until then, he's in a lot of hurt.
I don't know. Democrats have started to believe a lot of conspiracy theorists on the left that President Trump kidnapped the Lindbergh baby.
Thank you to you both. We'll be right back.